In our final year at the university, I had a coursemate and a roommate named Chukwuebuka, who was notorious for his womanizing ways. Now, don't get me wrong, Chidalu was a great guy, funny, smart, and always the life of the party. But his uncontrollable urge to chase after every woman he laid eyes on was borderline ridiculous. A guy who couldn't resist anything in his skirts, tall or short, fair or dark, young or aged, he brought them all into our tiny room. From late night moans, stains on our bed, and mysterious underwear left behind or forgotten by his concubines. But the night that broke the camel's back, when he claimed his cousin needed to sleep over for safety, and I woke up to him doing the unthinkable. Yes, he was sleeping with the girl he called his cousin. I finally packed out, and what happened next? I had seen him in countless situations, hopping on bikes with girls, getting slapped by a girl on the side of the road, and even sneaking out of lectures to meet up with women. Despite all of us, friends, classmates, even strangers constantly warning him to tone it down, his obsession with women never slowed down. His, well, let's call it strong urges were stronger than any advice we could offer. Fast forward to our final year, and our coursemate decided to go out to celebrate the end of this long journey. We hit up a nearby event center, and that's when things took an interesting turn. Chidalu couldn't keep his eyes off one of the waitresses, a plump, beautiful girl. He spent the entire evening talking to her, almost ignoring the rest of us. As we were about to leave, and we were nearing the junction where we'd catch bike to our apartment, Chidalu suddenly stopped us. He claimed he had forgotten something and asked us not to wait for him. He said he might take too long, so we should head off without him. At that time, none of us thought much of it, but what happened next? Well, let's just say it will be start of something no one expected. Around 2 a.m., I was woken up from a deep sleep by a call. Grudgingly, I squinted at my phone. It was Chidalu. I groaned, dropped my phone, and tried to go back to sleep, but he wouldn't stop calling. Reluctantly, I answered, "Hello?" I said, still half asleep. Chidalu immediately started speaking in a panicked tone, asking if I had an inhaler in my room. I frowned and told him no, I didn't. I wasn't asthmatic, after all. Then I asked what he needed an inhaler for at this hour. He wasn't asthmatic either, and I had lived with him for almost 2 years, so I knew this was strange. His voice cracked as he explained through tears. He had brought a girl home, the same girl from the event center. They were, well, getting busy when suddenly she began gasping for air. At first, he thought it was just a reaction to his manly performance, but when she started wheezing and begging for an inhaler, he panicked. Chidalu said her breathing became worse. Her throat and nose started closing up. He searched through her bag and discovered she had forgotten her inhaler, which she didn't need very often. Confused and concerned, I told him to take her to the nearest hospital, but his reply shocked me. "How am I going to find a caraway bike at this hour?" he asked, sounding completely lost. I didn't have an answer. I was just as confused. He abruptly ended the call, and I lay there in bed hoping for the best, but unsure of what was really happening. The next day, I received a call that completely shattered my world. Chidalu's mysterious situation had taken a tragic turn. The girl he had brought home the night before, the one he had called me about in panic, had tragically died in his room before he could even get her any help. What followed was a series of shocking events that no one could have predicted. It quickly turned into a major case involving Chidalu and the girl's family, who were natives of Nsukka. They didn't just accuse him of negligence, they claimed their daughter, who never had asthma, had been murdered by him. To make things even more intense, they suggested that Chidalu had sinister plans for the girl, accusing him of wanting to use her for dark money-making rituals. Things spiraled fast. Not only was Chidalu arrested, but it was also discovered that the girl in question, Miss Chinenye Owaka, was underage, just 16. This revelation made the situation even more serious. The police and judges didn't take it kindly to his action, and he was charged with much more than what anyone could have imagined. In the same month we graduated, Chidalu was tried in court. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the rape and murder of Miss Chinenye Owaka. To this day, as I write this, he remains behind bars, unfree and ungraduated. The man I once called a friend is now a convicted criminal, living out the consequences of his action.